Okay,
Right?
I guess we'll just talk about it then.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. For the first
Yeah.
time. So I thought what would be nice before we do anything else is just like take a second to like really give you your flowers and think about like the journey so far and how it took to get here. So I want you to take me back to your earliest memory of music.
The earliest memory I have of music is me singing. I used to want to be a footballer when I was a kid, like a lot of kids my age at the time wanted to do. A lot of kids always want to be a footballer. And I was on my way to football training, and my dad turned to me in the car when we were singing. Must have been singing along. And he said, "Oh, you know, you've got a really good voice." And I always felt like my dad really didn't ever mince his words. Like he wasn't someone who would like lie to me for the sake of like lifting my confidence about something. He would always be honest with me. And I remember that was probably the first time someone had complimented me on singing, because I was always very like shy about it. I could do it in the car with my parents and stuff, but you know, when my dad actually turned to me and said, "You actually can sing," it was really affirming. I'd say that was probably the first time ever.
How has it been this year with like obvious like such highs and then such lows happening almost at the same time? How do you or can you like cope with that emotionally?
Well, I think it's like about being proactive with it. Like I knew that the album was supposed to come out in May, right? And I could feel that life was getting quite stressful for me. And I knew that people had pre-ordered it and they were waiting for it and stuff. And you know, but I felt like, one, I think I had a valid reason to like be like, I need to push this back so I can have more time to promote it. Because the album was pretty much finished. Like there was a couple of things I wanted to change because I had a bit more time, and I did do that. But really and truly, the whole point of that was that I wasn't enjoying the promotional side of it. I didn't feel like I really wanted to. I felt like it was inappropriate in a way. And I felt like unless I'd addressed that, I couldn't really like go forward, and I wouldn't have felt good like doing it back in May, because I just wasn't in the right space. I'd just done this tour with Kid Laroi, and life was becoming really busy. And I felt like if just moving it back like a couple months gives me that time and space for me to be at home and like be able to like be on the ground in the UK and like promote it and like do all the cool things that I've always dreamt of doing with my debut album, then I wanted to do it. And I think, yeah, processing everything it's been difficult, it's been trying. I've felt a change in myself, you know, like I'm probably more agitated than I've ever been in my life. Like there's just so many stresses and stuff, and like I have a short fuse sometimes, and like one thing I remember my friend Hussein, when my dad passed, he drove all the way down from Essex, Ilford in Essex, and he came to my door, and he didn't mind if I wanted to open it up to him or not. He just wanted to be there, and he said to me, I remember he said like, you know, you're allowed. And when he said that, I didn't quite understand what he meant, but when he explained it, he said like, you're allowed to feel like this, and you're allowed to shut out people every now and then, and you're allowed to take time for yourself, you're allowed to do within reason, anything that you want that makes you process this situation that's been so hard, like enough to actually carry on, because this stuff is so hard, like, you know. So I think what it was is I've had that ringing in my ears, you know, like not in a way that I can just do whatever I want, but in the sense of, you know, if I want to cancel this meeting, or, you know, I don't want to turn up for this particular thing, like I can, because if things are getting hard, like I'm allowed to be there for myself, because at the end of the day, like that, you know, it's not selfish to look after number one.
Of course not.
You've got like you've got to do that to maintain all your other relationships. Because if you're in a bad way, if you're on your own to yourself, you're going to be in a worse way with others. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, processing it's been hard, and yeah, I have had some extreme highs, and with that has come a lot of guilt, because I feel like, oh, should I even be happy right now?
That's exactly what I was going to ask about.
Yeah,
is
like sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't really feel like I deserve this happiness, or like not deserve. I feel like, should I be happy? I feel guilty about being happy. I should be sad about this thing that's happened, but like the truth is, like, you've got to take those moments of happiness when you have them, when you're going through something like as significant as what's been going on with me for the last whatever. You save those moments, and that's why, like, you know, I will go and hang out with my friends until late on a Saturday night, or I'll go and I don't know, just do something stupid, like, because if I can save those moments, you know, it makes me remember that they're actually possible to happen in this time, you know?
Yeah, because the grief isn't going anywhere. Like,
No.
the grief lives with you.
Mhm.
So, like, I think you need them happy moments. So, in the time where you are struggling, you
Yeah.
have reminders, and
Yeah.
that's important.
Definitely. I think, like, what I have realised in this time is, like, how grateful I am to have my friends, to have my partner Lily, to have my family, and to have my siblings, because really and truly, like, without all those people, like, sort of being there for me, I think this would have been a lot harder. And actually, in a lot of ways, in a weird way, I felt like this would have been harder. But I think I forget just how much of a great support system I have around me. You know, my managers, like my older brother, my videographers are like my little brothers, and my whole team is like just a family, and like everyone around me, like, that I'm surrounded by, I'm just so grateful for, because, you know, I have, not everyone has a support system as good as I do. And also, on top of that, I also have all these people online that don't even know me, just checking in, just send me a message or going like, oh, how are you feeling today? Hope you're doing all right, thinking of you, even if it's been 6 months since it happened, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
What interests me, I think, is like every answer you give goes back to other people. So it's like, oh, if I write this music, then that can make somebody else happy. Or like, oh, my family and friends are so supportive. I'm so lucky to have them. And in these moments where you're dealing with like grief and anxiety and like deep sadness, it seems like you're always still trying to make other people happy, which is such a lovely thing. But
Thanks.
I think for me, it's like, where does the ugly emotion go? So like the anger and the grief, where do you put that?
I mean, I put that in my music, definitely. I think that's where it goes into. But like I'm human, you know. Sometimes I'll like get mad, or like I'll like maybe say something that I didn't really mean to my friends or to my partner or something, you know. And like that makes me human, though. And I'm not mad at myself for that. I'm giving myself a break in that way. And maybe sometimes I'm like, you know, there's points where I'm angry at the situation. I'm angry at what's happened, you know, because that's part of the grief cycle, right? Is these sad emotions. And like I feel sad sometimes, and I go to bed, and that's when it really kicks in. So, or I can't sleep, or, you know, I wake up and I feel like a bit groggy. But honestly, like my instant reaction to all of this has always been like knowing that I have a good support group. I can't explain. I know you've just said like I'm talking about them, but like I genuinely have like not got. I just don't think I get through this without these people, because they ground me in a way that I don't run too fast. You know what I mean? I don't go too fast into all the negative stuff that I could have gone into. You know, I could be someone who takes a lot of drugs, or I could be someone who drinks a hell of a lot. I do have a drink every now and then.
It's good too.
But like I have vices as well. I do have a drink, and I do love the football, and I do like, you know, my negative emotions, like it's the sad thing about it, is like they tend to come about other people that are closest to me. And you know, I have arguments with people, or like, you know, and I get into little disagreements, but like everyone around me knows that they're seeing a version of me that is not the one that it was before, if that makes sense. Like these things are gonna happen to me now, like, and I have to, and I'm also trying to work on them so that it doesn't become a bad thing. I don't think that it is a bad thing. I think it's just something that happens every now and then. But I'm like, I don't know. I think it is this sad shame is like when someone's like feeling down, like the people that want to help them the most sometimes get the brunt of it. And I'm man enough to say that that's happened in my case a few times, you know. But everyone around me loves me and will be there for me regardless, because they know it's fucking tough. You know, life is tough and life is, you know, and they know that I would do the same. Like, because I am that person. Like, if someone's like that with me, I'd be like, it's a bit shit from you, but I'll take it because I love you, and you know, it just is what it is. You know what I mean?
Your friends and family obviously know you as like the human being you away from music, and they also know you as like the singer who performs on stage. What did they think about the album when they heard it?
Well, actually, I haven't actually sent it to a bunch of people.
People haven't heard it yet?
Yeah, like my, I don't think my mum's heard it in full. I don't think my sister or brother have. I like to keep it as a surprise, like, because I like them to be in with everyone else. But my girlfriend's heard it, and I think she likes it. Would you say that?
Best album in the world.
Yeah,
There you go.
There you go. She said it's the best album in the world for anyone who wants to hear. And, you know, the people that work on my project have all heard it, and everyone really likes it. I think the thing with this project is that it's personal, but in a way where it feels semi-universal, whereas a lot of my music has felt very niche to my personal experience, so much so that I feel like sometimes perhaps people struggle to relate to it in some ways, but I wanted to make this album as universally understood as possible, if that makes sense. So everyone who's heard it, I feel really, well, I hope really likes it, unless they're lying to my face, which they could be, which is valid.
I doubt they are.
But yeah, I feel like it's got a good reception so far within the inner circle, for sure.
Whose opinion matters the most to you? So like, say there was a song and like the label loved it, but you didn't like it, what would you do then?
Well, well, if the label likes something and I don't like it, usually I get say in whether it goes out or not. But like, I also respect the opinion of anyone who has an opinion on it, on any of my music, you know, because they might hear something in it that I don't, and they are professionals and they know where.
But what about if you love something and they don't like it?
Well, I am really lucky because I have a label that really supports my creative freedom. So I do tend to 95% of the time that gets pushed through. But like, if someone doesn't like it, I have this thing in me that I'm like, well, if someone doesn't like it and they know what they're talking about, I should take that seriously to a certain degree. And it definitely gets in my head sometimes. And I'm like, oh, I really loved this before they said something.
But then they're still a person. Like,
They're
I mean,
still, exactly, they're just a person, but they're also like, I want everyone to feel empowered in my team and feel like they're like respected, if that makes sense. So I don't want people to think that I am, what's the word? I am just sort of berating them and being like, I know best, you know, because as much, but at the same time, you know, if I ever feel really strongly about something, I'll always do it because it's my face at the end of the day that gets posted everywhere, and
so who's got to sing the songs?
I've got to sing the songs. But the person that I think I respect the ear of the most, like the person I really want to like it, because if they like it then and I like it, then it's good. We'll both push it through. It's my manager Nim, and I think that Nim is like the most important person in my career. Like, all the things that I do is like curated by Nim and helped pushed through by Nim. And any time that I need, if he's the sort of person that if I love it and the label don't love it, he'll go and have that conversation, be like, we're doing it. You know what I mean? I can't always do that. So Nim's ear is like the one I respect the most and love the most, and he's the first person I always text my music to when I come out of the studio, feel excited about something, send it, and then he'll send some crazy reaction, or he'll be like, yeah, cool, man.
And
when,
like, oh,
when he
dear.
goes, cool, man, I'm like, yeah, maybe I need to take this one back. But most of the time it's like, yo, what the hell, who did this, how did you do, like all that. So yeah, I think historically, at least for the last 5 years, it's been Nim.
How do you want people to listen to the album? So like your mum for the first time or a fan, how would you like them to experience it? I
mean, I'd love for them to give it a chance the whole way through. That would be the dream, but like, being honest, like that doesn't always happen, you know. A lot of people, you know, I'd love to hear that my album hasn't got a skippable track, but you know, who wants an album with a skippable track, you know what I mean? And who's ever preempting that happening? But like, if it was up to me, it would be either switching it on in the car and going on a long drive, or lying down in bed and just being like, yeah, this is cool. I'm listening to it like that. Rain maybe falling on the window, I don't know.
Oh, I like that. It was a bit
For
scenic.
Cinematic reasons. Yeah.
The album is called Hi, My Name is Insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Good question. So I wrote the song Hi, My Name is Insecure at the start. It was the first song I wrote that ended up getting put on the album. And the song's about like using someone as a crutch in a party situation when you're like socially anxious and like needing that person. And as time's gone on, the concept of what Hi, My Name is Insecure as a like phrase has meant is that I own that. As soon as I say that out loud, I now own my insecurity, because you can't poke me with a stick with it if I've called myself it. It's like in that film 8 Mile. Have you ever seen it?
When he does all the insults
When he does all the insults to himself first. The other guy can't say anything. So once you've said, hi, my name is Insecure, no one can like poke at me for that thing, and I've almost taken total ownership. It's something that's like been super debilitating my whole life, is my insecurity about my body and how I look and how I'm perceived, and am I good at my job? Am I like an imposter? Like, do I deserve this? Like, all these things run around my mind. As soon as I've said it out of my mouth, and like I've named my debut album this, like no one can ever like take that away from me. I have got to my debut album, and I've deserved to get there, because I've written songs that people like and stuff. And it's taken a long time for me to get to the point where I can say that out loud and not feel arrogant or feel like I'm just lying. But I do believe those words. I do believe that when you, I think there's power in just saying how you feel, like, and a lot of people might look at it as like, arrogance and whatever, like if you say that you're good at something.
But even that's insecurities,
yeah,
I don't think anyone ever would.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean? It's exactly. So, but yeah, Hi, My Name's Insecure as a song is about that, but the album's about something totally different. It's about owning your insecurities and like that being the first step to sort of making your way past them. If you accept that they're there and you say out loud that they're there, and that's like the first step. And like the album is bookended with a song called Hi, My Name is Insecure and a song called Alone at the Party at the end. And Alone at the Party is about going to a party on your own, not having a crutch, not having anyone there. And the lyric is, yeah, you're alone at the party, but at least you left the house. It's sort of like, if you can make your bed in the morning, if you can step outside, even if it's for like 5 seconds, it's progress.
Small wins.
Yeah, it's small wins, and that's what the album's really about, focused on.
Are you like a party guy? Because I feel like you obviously have like millions of streams and you're like smashing it and like could very easily be celeb, but I don't see you like on red carpets and I don't see you going to like kind of these celebrity events. Is that a conscious decision?
Well, I think there's a multitude of reasons for that. One, I don't really like parties. I only started drinking alcohol when I was like 24, which is about 20 years ago, about 3 years ago.
How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 47. No, 3 years ago I started drinking alcohol. Maybe 4 now. I don't know. I think it was 3. And I've always liked it in a pub setting. Like, I don't really like going to clubs. I hate going to clubs actually. I don't like parties. I don't like big groups of people unless I know them really well. I find it really hard to mix with people. And also, in the nicest way possible, I'm from Brighton, and the music scene in the UK is primarily based in London, and I don't overly like London as a place. It makes me feel a bit like anxious, and I think all those parties people go to in the red carpet events, as much as I'm honoured if I'm ever invited, like I think it's really nice, I just don't think that I fit in that crowd. I think it can sometimes be quite cliquey, and I feel like I don't really subscribe to that. I just like making music, and I've got like my friends around me that are just perfect the way they are. I don't really need anyone else. I think the party thing is just like, there's part of me that really wants to like that stuff.
Maybe it's not you, it's not you.
You know, but there is parts of me that's like, I really wish I liked that stuff, because like, it would be fun to go out and go clubbing and whatever, but there's part of me that I just know I'm just going to be standing there for like 3 hours and I just want to go home and watch a movie the whole time. So I just don't.
That's like self-assurance in a different way. It's going,
Yeah.
do you know what, I know who I am,
Yeah.
I know what I like, and I'm comfortable in that. And that's kind of like a theme that I see across the whole album. Is like there's like a subtle irony to the fact it's called Hi, My Name is Insecure, but you can really see, like, particularly I think when it comes to like love and kind of letting yourself open up to like romantic feelings, there was quite a few songs on the album where I thought, like, maybe it's because I'm a little bit similar, where I'm very closed off from people, and I was like, wow, like how you're describing things is how I am, and then watching you kind of slowly open up to people and like let yourself be loved felt like a real theme.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like a good example of that is like the song "Thank God You Talk to Me." Like like that story is so true. Like I really badly like saw this person, really wanted to speak to them, but well, my girlfriend, she sat over there. This is awkward. No, but like I really so badly wanted to speak to her, but I also didn't want to like impose on her evening or anything like that, or be that guy that just like bothers her at the bar, or you know. So but it was almost like, I think when you like put out that energy, I do think that like people reciprocate, and she actually came to me and she spoke to me, and that's why it's called Thank God You Talk to Me. And there's songs like Thanatophobia where it's about growing up in a argumentative household, let's say, and feeling like that was like your example of what love was, but like it doesn't have to be, and like people can actually give you a love that you've seen in movies and stuff, you know what I mean, and like you can experience love the way that you didn't think was actually possible, because your only example of it was different, you know. And yeah, I definitely think as I've got older, I've definitely accepted that that's actually possible, and that's why I wanted to include songs like that in my album for sure.
And as we're talking about this album now, even though it's called Hi, My Name is Insecure, do you feel proud of yourself?
Yeah, I do. I think there's a part of me that could have taken my whole life on this album. I could have kept on going and changing it and doing this and be like, oh, actually. And there's been songs that I've written.
I mean,
since.
it's been a long time coming anyway. I feel like everyone would be furious.
It's true. But even now, like I've written some songs since. I'm like, oh, I wish I'd just got that in.
Album
time.
2.
And like, yeah, exactly. And that's it. But I am proud. I'm feeling specifically proud about this because of how difficult the situation has been. Like, I think a version of me a few years ago would have genuinely just been like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to take a year or two off. But like, I'm glad I fought through it, because I think if I took that 3 years off, I would have really like resented myself for doing so. And I've got through it, and it has been hard. And there's been times where I'm like, I just don't want to do this right now. But also, like, getting it out. Yeah, managing to get a debut album, like a very small percentage of artists get to do that and have a fan base, especially, that are there to listen to it and hopefully enjoy it, you know. So I feel really, 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 really lucky, but I do feel proud, yeah.
Yay, okay.
That was a really long-winded thing of
like,
way of saying yes. Just say yes.
But you did say yes, and that's good. It's really nice. I know that you said that you're quite protective about your music, and like you haven't really shown your mum much of it yet. Did your dad get to hear any of it?
That's a good question. I actually finished this album 5 days after, I got the masters 5 days after he passed, so he missed that, but he got to hear all the singles beforehand, and he was always the first person to say anything. He'd heard a couple of the songs. He'd heard Dead to Me, and he'd heard, I think he'd heard Phones in Heaven. So I think he'd heard like a lot of the songs that had come out. But yeah, no, he was funny though. Like he would like, I remember there was a song I released called Charlie a few years ago, maybe like 4 years ago now. And this girl on YouTube did a cover of it, and he was like, I think I prefer her version. He was really like honest, and like at the time I was like, oh, fucking hell, cheers dad, like cheers for that. But there was a brilliance to how honest he was, and I think he would have loved this album, but I think honestly there would have been a couple songs he'd be like, oh, I don't really like that. But I would have loved that. You know what I mean? I would have been like, oh, fair enough.
Because then you know that he really loves the ones that he loves.
Yeah. Exactly. Because like with some people, like in my life, they always say, oh, I love this. But actually, he gave perspective, and he was like, you know, I was like, oh, maybe actually this song isn't as universal as I thought, because this is actually, maybe the lyrical content is, but the production isn't, or vice versa, you know. And yeah, it was always an interesting review, sending him my music, for sure.
Can you remember any of his comments?
I remember there was this one time I played him some stuff early on, and we were sitting in his car, and he was like, you should get, he was like, who writes Sam Smith's music? And I was like, I'm not sure, because at this time I really wasn't. And because I was like 18 or something, I was like, I don't know. Like, and he was like, you should get that person to write me music, because that would be amazing. I was thinking, cheers, my music is just, you just don't
Not
like
even
it.
the vibe.
But like,
also, I love parents kind of like, you know, that blind look at the world. Like my mum once was like, why don't you just message Taylor Swift? Like, send her a message.
Exactly. Like I could just, at 18, with absolutely no clout in the industry whatsoever, just go find Sam Smith and their songwriter team and just be like, do you mind just
my dad said that.
Yeah, my dad said, you know, he'll chuck me on. Do you know what I mean? That'd be good. But it's that sort of blindness to reality that makes you appreciate your parents a little bit, because we live in this generation where, for them, you can like, I honestly think they probably look at social media as like, yeah, you can just message whoever and they'll reply probably, because they won't, but like, it's insane.
If you look at kind of like where you are now and you think, I used to be at Vodafone and I was just like wanting essentially the life that I now have, how does it make you feel to sit in this moment and like be honest, because I feel like sometimes it's not exactly how you expect it to be?
There's definitely a bunch of things I would have done differently with the hindsight that I have now, but if I was talking to if I was back working at Vodafone, which was great, but also clearly not what I wanted to do, and respect to anyone who was there. Like for me, I knew what I wanted, and it's funny. Like as soon as I found out any record label was interested, my manager said, "Oh, we've got a meeting with this record label." I literally quit my job on the spot. I was that
determined.
silly. That determined, but also that naive. I didn't get signed for another 6 months after that, so I was absolutely.
But you were like
scraping
hungry.
the barrel. I was hungry, yeah, and like that person, if they'd seen where I am now, debut album, you know, I've had a project go top 10 before. I've been on stage with Justin Bieber and I've done this and all these cool things. I genuinely think they would just never believe it. You know what I mean? I know that.
What's next? Because you've just done a tour and now you're listening to an album and then you're going to do another tour. Like, is that just the pattern or do you want to take a little break? Like
I honestly haven't figured it out yet. I'm going to do this tour at the end of the year and I'm going to maybe release a little bit of music that I've been working on in the background between then. But I think I'm just taking, after this album, I'm going to take every day as it comes, and if I curate a collection of songs that I really like, maybe I'll go into album 2, maybe it'll take a little longer. I honestly don't know. I think the main thing for me is taking the time for myself to really heal at this point, because after I've done the album, I don't really want to rush into releasing any more music. I kind of want to take some time for myself, go maybe travel, see some places, go on holiday with my girlfriend, you know, do stuff like that, and then come back and, yeah, I mean, I'll never do the whole, I don't think, ever do the whole thing where, like, you know, I drop off the face of the earth for a long period of time. Like, I'll always be, like, transparent in what I'm doing, but maybe it won't be going straight into album 2 and making, like, a whole thing about that. That'll just naturally come as it comes, I think, and when I'm ready, I'll be ready.
Are you a little scared of stopping? I feel like when you've got a distraction, it really helps. Are you scared that, like, after the album, it's going to be a bump?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a part of me that's going to be like, oh, what am I working towards now? Because I've been working towards a debut album for like 10 years. So what do I do now? But I think, honestly, that's the thing with when with growing up and like learning to understand yourself better. Like, I know that I really benefit from my time off. Like, I really benefit from that. And I've learned not to put pressure on myself to constantly be writing songs, constantly be doing this and that to benefit my career. I think I could write 20 songs in 20 days, and most likely only one of them is going to get used because only one of them I really like. And I think those songs really come from deep inspiration within when I'm ready to write a song. I always know before I've written the song whether the song's going to be a good one or not on the day. So I wake up and I'm like, yeah, I feel good today. I feel like I can write this. And a lot of the time I'm just writing to write, you know. And
how do you write? Do you write in like a certain place? Is like a notebook, a laptop?
I normally write on my phone, and I a lot of the time do it at home and like come up with the basic ideas at home. But it depends. Like, some of the songs have been written in a session with a bunch of people, or not a bunch of people, but a few people, and then some have been written at home. It always just changes and stuff. But my most comfortable space is just sitting on my bed or on my sofa at home and just piecing it together at home.
And then the last question is, if music went away, so like if music just stopped existing tomorrow, what would still make you you? What would make you Sam?
I think the thing that would make me me is that with or without music, I'm still pushing people to talk about how they feel. Like, all my friends are always the first to ask how they're doing, and not like I'm up my own arse way, but like, I know that I really care about my mates, I really care about my partner's feelings, I really care about how my family are feeling, everyone around me. Like, the thing that would stay the same is the fact that I feel like it's my duty to look after other people's, or like go out, try my hardest to make sure that everyone around me is like doing all the necessary things that they need to like maintain happiness, because I've been affected by it too many times. And I think maybe it comes from like maybe being scared that someone's gonna like go away, you know, and maybe that's part of it. But also, like, in general, it's just, I just really care about my mates' mental well-being and looking after them, and that's why I've dedicated so much of my musical career into doing so, you know, because I just think people need to talk about it more and need to make sure that they're being open and vulnerable at all times and over communicating their feelings, because then everyone around them can like keep a watchful eye if anything is going on, you know.
It's nice because that's what your friend exactly did for you when you lost your dad, is drove down and was like, I'll stand here if you want me to stand here, but I'm here if you need us.
Exactly. And like my friends, when I came home from this weekend of hell where my life had been turned upside down, they all came there and they had like a hamper. So, sorry, it makes me bummer, but they all had like a hamper that they'd got for me, and that's like, you know, I don't like, it feels like it's like sort of, you know, it's not like the most insane gesture in the world, but it's like coming home and like having my world ripped apart and having all my mates just rallying around and being there with like a gift with a bunch of stupid stuff that they know that I like, you know. It's little things like that that make life worth living in those moments, you know what I mean? So,
how are you going to celebrate when the album drops? Because I feel like you need to do something.
Yeah, I think what I want to do is I want to have a meal with all my mates, or like go out to the pub that we always go to in Brighton, whether that's on the release date or not, because I'm doing like little pop-up tours and stuff. But like there will be a day that we all get smashed at the pub, and it'll be that. Probably that'll be it.
There you go. Happy?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Wicked. That was awesome. Thank you so much. That was a really good interview. Loved that.
Oh, thank you. I really enjoyed chatting.
Yeah, that was awesome. Loved it. Sweet. Are we?
Gucci?
Gooch.
There we go.